Hey everyone, it's Kirk McLean here, and you're watching Clay's Canucks Commentary.
Hey Canucks fans, and welcome to Clay's Canucks Commentary Live, presented to you by Van City Experts Real Estate. This is Clay M, Canucks Commentary, Clay in the AM, and I'm so happy to be with all of you this morning on December the 7th, a Sunday morning. And as always, we're presented to you by Van City Experts Real Estate. Wow. Great win. I didn't watch any of it, and maybe that's why they won. And they won by my favorite score of 4-2. So let's get into it. Moderators, do what you need to do to keep this a safe and respectful place. Members, that's Legends, Hall of Fame, and franchise members, thanks for your support. And to everyone else, no matter where you're watching from, whether my beautiful neighborhood of Steveston and Richmond, in the city, Lower Mainland, province, country, continent, around the world, thank you for being here. You know that I know that you could be doing anything else, watching anyone else, getting ready for work, school, or bed, or all three. No, you're not. I got to get that right. Getting ready for work or school or church or all three. But the fact that you're here with me, know how much I always appreciate you, know how much I never, ever take you for granted. So hello, Gerald. Hello, Fangirl. Hello, Indigo. I see Andrew. I see Dino. I see Skytrain Elfrin. Welcome to all of you who are in the chat already. Moderators, do what you need to do. No, I already said this already. These are ways that you can get involved tonight. You can subscribe to the channel. You can get active in the chat section. You can like the video, like the fact that the Canucks won, like the fact that the Aatu Raty got 3 points, like the fact that Tom Willander scores his first NHL career goal, like the fact that they won by my favorite score of 4-2, and like the fact that overall, two good performances, back-to-back performances at Rogers Arena this weekend. You can leave a donation, be the first to get the donation train out of the station. You can gift a membership, buy your own membership, upgrade your membership, use your monthly membership message. And if you're listening on a podcast platform, make sure you rate and review. So last night I was at Hidden Wonders, the magic show out in New Westminster. It's my second time seeing it. It's sold out 4 months in advance. So went in May and then went again with our best friends last night. We'll post some pictures later. Wonderful show. Gail was part of it. I was part of it. Without boring you with an explanation, it was pretty amazing in that in the feature trick of the show, he had Gail as his volunteer, and then through a series of sleight of hand and mentalism and whatever, basically predicted the number, the time, pretended Gail was going to go on vacation, predicted where she was going to go, how much, what time she was going to go, boarding pass number, and that she was going to bring me. And then he produced a frequent flyer card with my name on it, Clayton Nemo. It was a freakiest thing. I think I know how he does some of it, but certainly not all of it. So if you're into that kind of thing, look up Hidden Wonders. Okay, what wasn't hidden was the Vancouver Canucks effort over the weekend. And remember, I was saying that I was at the Friday night game, the Filipino Heritage Night, the loss against Utah, but I didn't feel that bad because the Canucks actually played well and basically dominate's too strong a word. I always say that. Controlled that game and likely were the better team on the night. And that is totally fair. And I think that is not exaggeration, where they probably should have won on Friday night. Last night was a bit of a different story in that Minnesota held most of the the good chances, yet because of Nikita Topil and because of some really gutsy effort, the Canucks were shorthanded. We'll get to that in a second. The Canucks pulled it out. So maybe you could say that the Canucks should have won on Friday night, and maybe, at least from the fancy stats, Minnesota was a much better team yesterday. But I'm not sure, because I didn't watch the game. I can't say for sure that it felt like that when you guys are watching it. But maybe you can let me know in the chat if according to all the fancy stats, Minnesota was better. Scoring chances were even, 21-20 for Minnesota, but high danger chances was 10-2 for Minnesota, and then expected goals was 2.61 to 1.28, at least at 5-on-5. Expected goals in all situations was 3.44 for Minnesota and only 1.56 for Vancouver. So that's interesting how, and high danger chances were 12-4 for Minnesota. So 3-1 margin. I'm not sure if it felt like that. Let me know if it felt like that while you guys were watching the game. Now, let's talk about last night's game. And we start off as always by looking at the Sedge VC, the Clay Edge Goal Visualizer commentary. And that's where I break down all the goals using the help of NHL.com's. And once again, they have the first goal is missing. So I'm just going to have to talk to you about it. So it was Boldy from Zuccarello and Trennan. It was at the tail end of a very early Canucks power play. Who was in the box? Oh, the goaltender of Wallstead. Well, they say like Willander, not Willander. And so I've heard Wallstead instead of Wallstead. So Wallstead was, that penalty just ended. But Adam Foote said that he should have had 2 defensemen out there. He didn't. So then it became a 2-on-1. A 2-on-1 because of a pinch. And then it was Zuccarello and Boldy. And then I believe Marcus Pettersson was on D, if I'm not mistaken. And then it was either Marcus Pettersson or Hronek. One of them was on D. And then Evander Kane was trailing but didn't make it back. And Zuccarello, great play. Coming down the left wing, looks off Boldy and just looks like he's going to shoot. And then does a no-look pass across to Boldy. Hard, deep, fast. And then Tolopilo sprawling out. Canucks defenders sprawling on. I can't remember, like I said, if it was Hronek or Marcus Pettersson. Seems to be Hronek. It was the end of a power play. And then good effort by Tolopilo, but as big as he is, still could not stop the shot. And already 3 minutes in, it is 1-0 Minnesota. And Minnesota was the better team. Oh, it was Marcus Pettersson. Thank you. Then, second period. First, Aatu Raty has a goal disallowed. Sherwood centered it to him. Went off Ratu's skate, and it didn't count after a review. And, Raty, you feel like you're snake bitten. He had a goal disallowed in LA on an offside call. And then this one, I'll talk about that in a second when I talk about what they said. So that one didn't count. Fine. Canucks still keep on going. And then we can watch this first ever career goal. Well, that's what a first career goal means ever, by Tom Willander. So this play actually starts way back in the Canucks zone. And it's DPD. Up the boards to DeBrusk to Carlson. And Buium loses his stick here. So number 8 doesn't have a stick. So Carlson does a really nice job of waiting. Remember, number 8 can't do anything because he doesn't have a stick. He can't gap up because he has no stick to gap up. So waits. And then lets DeBrusk clear the lane. And look what that does. It opens up a clear path. So there goes to Willander. A lot of traffic. Look at all the traffic. By the time he shoots it, there's all those guys, especially DeBrusk. Actually, Wallsted's being screened by his own guy. And then this was a hard wrist shot to the top right corner stick side of Wallsted. And it goes in. Willander is excited. And watch DPD. Let's see if... Oh, DPD comes in and basically does one of those jump hug things. And then his stick comes up and hits DeBrusk in the face. It's pretty funny if you watch it. So let's watch it one more time. Willander to DeBrusk. DeBrusk to Carlson. Carlson comes in, stops up, lets a bit of traffic go through to Willander, and now it is 1-1. Then, just 2 minutes later, the other young Swedish defenseman scores. Elias Pettersson, first of the season, not first in his career. Raty, great work off the faceoff dot. You'll see, boom, boom. Then it goes to Willander. Willander D to D. And then again, through traffic. Not a hard wrister, but this one goes on the other side of Wallstead. But let's look at this right now one more time, and you'll just see a common theme. Remember I was telling how Adam Foote was saying the Canucks need to get to the net more, create more traffic? Look at this. So you got basically 4 guys in Wallsted's line of vision, 3 of them his own teammates, and then that puck goes far side, and now it is 2-1 for the Vancouver Canucks. Great play by DPD. So you had Willander and DPD scoring within 2 minutes of each other. Then, still in the third period, this is nice. Starts in the Canucks zone. You had Kane making a good play on the wall. And now it's a 2-on-1. Raty and Sherwood. We know what's going to happen when Sherwood's on a 2-on-1. He's going to shoot. But, they gave Raty a lot of time and space. And I heard Harm Dial on Rink Wide after the game say that that Aatu needs a lot of time to wind up his wrist shot. It's not like a super quick release like Sherwood. And then remember, Sherwood's a right winger, so to get the pass to Sherwood would have to cross this defenseman and then get to Sherwood's far side. Not the easiest thing. So Aatu elects just to shoot it himself, and he has a hard wrist shot. Again, takes a while to load up, but he's got a hard wrist shot. And now it's 3-1 Canucks. Then Aatu scores again. This one's kind of funny. Wallstead, so it's DeBrusque. The Wallstead plays it here. Looks pretty safe. He can dump it all the way around. He can soft dump it here. But he just freezes. And Aatu said that Sherwood said, leave the puck. So Wallstead freezes. I guess he didn't recognize Sherwood's voice, or Sherwood disguised himself as a Minnesota Wild player. By the way, why are there 7 guys, like 5 Canucks guys here? Anyway. And then Aatu picked, a comedy of errors. Aatu just picks Wallstead's pocket, and then he beats him. He goes short side. Wallstead goes the other side, and then he scores right there. And as Alfred says, Aatu steals, Aatu scores. I'll get to that in 2 seconds. Alfred, thank you. 4-1. And then I'm not tracking the scores, actually, because I'm in a Magic show, so I don't know what's going on. So I didn't know that they hit my favorite score because of this goal with 2.5 minutes left. Who's in the box? Oh, Besser. So Besser's in the box, and they pull the goalie. So 6-on-4, and they got like really skilled players like Boldy, Kaprizov, and Zuccarello. So here we go. It's Kaprizov to Zuccarello. Comes in, turns. You know, you can't really fault it when he's outside the dot, but he does a really, really good shot past Tolopil, and that's in the game. 4-2 for the Vancouver Canucks. They finally win by my favorite score, even though I didn't predict it because I didn't do a video yesterday. I can actually make now more realistic score predictions for the rest of the season. So it only took game number 20, whatever this is, for it to happen. Let's recognize the first donation of the stream. Thank you, Skytrain Alfred, for getting the donation train out of the station. So thank you, Skytrain Alfred, for the $2 donation. Let's give Alfred some love in the chat. Appreciate you. Appreciate all you guys that are piling in here now for this morning stream. Yeah, I was just saying about Minnesota dominating the game mostly 10-4, 6-6, 14-10. But look at the Canucks on the faceoff shot, winning faceoff dot, almost winning 30-20 with the shots and goal. Faceoffs were 63-37 for the Canucks. Power play, Minnesota goes 1 for 3, Canucks go 0 for 2, so they lose the power play, the special teams battle. More hits for the Canucks, more block shots for Minnesota, and now they split 5-2 in Minnesota, 4-2 in Vancouver. Last games in Minnesota, April 2. Let's get to the box score now. Let's see what's going on. Who cares about Minnesota? Okay. This is what stands out. Obviously, this line of Aatu, Sherwood, and Kane +3, +3, +2. We had Aatu with 2 goals and assists. Awesome. Multi-point. First 3-point night of a season, +3. 2 shots, 4 hits. What a great, great complete game. We had a bunch of assists for these guys. And then you look at time on ice, 23-34 for Garland, 21-15 for Besser. Those are the guys cresting 20. Under 10 was only Lekkerimäki with 6.5. That's not much. Drew O'Connor with 10, and Archie Baines with 7. This was your fourth line, by the way. Drew O'Connor was your fourth line center. We'll get to that in a minute. And then in terms of shots, 3 for Garland, and I got a bunch of guys with 2. Blocks, 2 for Kempf, and then 5 hits for Sherwood, and another 4 for Aatu, and then another 4 for O'Connor. So very good. Very good. And then on faceoff dot, how did O'Connor do? 42.9. Aatu, 87.5. Is that 7 out of 8? Whatever that is, that's really good. Kempf was 75%. That's not bad. On D, look at that. Willander, a goal and assist. He's quietly putting up some points. How many points does Willander have? Let me see real quick. Willander's now up to 8 points in 19 games. Good for him. Good for him. And only 13 and a +3. Look at this. The 2 youngsters +3, and they both have goals, which is pretty cool. A bit more spread out now. Hughes didn't play 28, 29. He plays 24, just under 25. But so did Hronek. So did Marcus Pettersson, 23. Myers, 22. And then 2 youngsters get 13 and 12, respectively. And then 3 shots for Hughes, 2 blocks for Marcus Pettersson, 2 hits each for Hronek and Tyler Myers. Then Tolopil. He was good. 28 saves on 30 shots. You can't blame him on the 2 goals that beat him. And I don't know. He seems to be playing better than Kevin Lankinen right now. I'm not trying to start a controversy just from being at the game Friday night. Lankinen was okay, but he didn't steal the game. You got to kind of make a save to steal the game. I'm not sure Tolopil did. I did see him make the stop on Kaprizov's breakaway, so I'm not sure what Tolopil's body work, how the difficulty. But yeah, if I see high danger chances at 12-4, expected goals at 3.44, and he only let in 2, and one of them was on a 6-on-4, and the other one was a power play. They never beat him 5-on-5. I'll take that. I will take that for sure. So great win by the Vancouver Canucks. Then we look at the scores for the rest of the league last night. 12 games. Colorado over the Rangers. Look at this. 6-7. I can't believe I did that. I'm not going to do the motion. 7-6. Panthers in overtime over the Blue Jackets. Bruins beat the Devils 4-1. Montreal beat Toronto 2-1. The Blues beat the Senators 2-1. Islanders shut out the Lightning. Wow. Islanders are good this year. Hurricanes 6-3. Boo! Flames 2-0 over the Mammoth. We must have softened them up. Kings 6-0 over the Hawks. Nick's not going to be happy. What? Look at all high scoring games. A 6-3, a 7-6, another 6 Oilers over the Jets. Yikes. This awesome game. And then Seattle loses. Yay! Add it all up in the division. We're still at the bottom because Calgary won, but it's pretty crazy how we're only 6 points behind Edmonton. I know with a lot of teams past, but it's a good thing we won last. For me, this might be illogical because I guess it depends on where you're in the season, but 6 points is surmountable. 8 points is or 7. As soon as it gets over 6, I feel like the gap is too big. But if it's 6 or fewer, then that's 3 wins. I still think that's doable. I'm not saying the Canucks are going to do it. But 6 points back sounds a lot better than 8 points. Well, of course, but kind of what I'm feeling. Yeah, because right now the wild card spot is 31, Utah, and the Canucks have 25. So we are 6 behind. That still seems right attainable. And then in the league now, we're back up to 31st now. We climb out of but we played one more game than Nashville, but because we'll see, points percentage basically the same for these 3 teams. Yeah. So quickly, let's talk about what I liked, what I didn't like, and one other thing. So what I liked, well, many things. I liked Aatu Raty's game. 3 points. Very, very impressive. I liked Nikita Tolopil's game. I liked the 28 saves. I liked Tom Willander getting his first career goal. I liked DPD scoring right after. I liked the fact that they did not get discouraged by Ratu's first goal getting waved off because of a kicking motion. And I liked the overall compete of this team, knowing that they were so shorthanded for this game. What didn't I like? Well, I didn't like the fact that PD didn't play. Obviously not his fault, and if he's getting an MRI done today, which we heard from the team, then hopefully it's not serious, but who knows? Is it a shoulder, collarbone, elbow, ribs? They said it was upper body. Doesn't sound like it's head or concussion related, so I guess we have to wait to find out. But with no PD, all the lines were disarray, conflict between Besser and Garland, and then we had Raty with Kane and Sherwood. Then you had Sasson must have been with Carlson and someone, because your fourth line, Lekkerimäki, and your fourth line was O'Connor centering Baines and maybe Lekkerimäki. So who's on the third line then? Carlson, Sasson, and I'm missing someone. Oh, DeBrusk. Wow, what a dog's breakfast. So your centers were David Kampf, Aatu Raty, Max Sasson, and Drew O'Connor. Yes, the amazing Drew O'Connor at center. So in all seriousness, it was great that the Canucks stepped up, being so shorthanded. Obviously, still without Bluger, without Hoglander, without Demko, without Forbert. Is that it? No. And then before PD. There were five. Hedel, Bluger, Hoglander, Forbert, and Demko. Those are the big five that are injured right now. Joseph coming off the flu, Kane coming back from the flu, and then add Elias Pettersson. So back up to 6 injured players. So I didn't like the fact that PD didn't play, but I like the fact that Canucks, all stepped up. And didn't like really the Canucks start to the game, obviously not scoring on that power play and then letting in that goal as the power play ends. But they came back from that. So not a lot to dislike on this game, especially you can't pick holes. It's not like the Canucks played poorly, but Minnesota played a bit better. But the Canucks end up with the dub 4-2. Finally, I should have switched that to what I didn't like. One other thing. I'm going to skip to what they said, and then I'll do one other thing after. What they said. So a lot of players... I noticed they trot Hughes out after a win and PD out after a loss. But anyway, they won, so it was Hughes. And actually, I'll do Hughes last because it'll lead to one other thing. Then it was Tom Willander who talked about his excitement. I really like hearing Willander speak. He's mature for sure, but he's also still young. You can tell because he gets excited about many, many things. So I really liked Willander talking about the excitement of scoring his first goal, how DPD came over and gave him that massive hug, and then high-sticking DeBrusk in the face in the process. So Willander talked about how excited it was for him to score. Awesome stuff. Aatu Raty then talked about how he was actually a little discouraged when his first goal, he would have had a hat trick, right? Maybe his first goal was disallowed. Then he talked about the LA one getting disallowed. This one, he's like, unless you score clean it was pretty funny actually. He said, unless you score clean on a breakaway and you don't touch the goalie, you're always waiting and always hoping, dreading the worst that the goal is going to get reviewed and called back. So I thought that was kind of funny to say. Ratu did just talk about stepping up in PD's absence. And he was obviously very happy with his play after the game. Then Nikita Tolopilo talked for a little bit. Just said he didn't like his start, but then he settled down. Talked about facing Kaprizov, or at least knowing of him from before. And overall, I really like talked about the birth of his baby daughter, of course, and giving props to his wife so that he could rest and prepare for this game. So really, really liked what Tolopilo had to say. Adam Foote, remember yesterday I was talking about how Adam Foote was very positive Friday night despite the loss. So he continued that positivity, talked about talked about PD actually a lot, and said basically PD wasn't sure how he'd feel in the morning, tried the warm-up, and then was pulled after the warm-up because he couldn't go, and thus he is getting his MRI done today. So we'll hear the results of that hopefully. Also simply talked about the fact that Minnesota is a tough, big team. Kind of made a funny comment about Minnesota's like an older team, mature, and they like you guys. They have guys over there with full beards. Like that was his actual comment. It was kind of funny. And then he was contrasting that to all the young players in the Canucks lineup: DPD, Willander, Lekaramaki, Ratu, Tolopilo, so on and so forth. So he liked the way that the Canucks stepped up. He liked the way that they played gritty, that they had a lot of post-whistle scrums. So Foote was very complimentary of his team after the game. And then Quinn Hughes, I'll end with him because it leads into one other thing. So for Quinn Hughes, we talked about obviously the win, how important it was, how well the team's been playing, And then Thomas Drance, out of the blue, followed up on a report from Elliot Friedman on Hockey Night in Canada saying that there have been discussions between the Devils and the Canucks about Quinn Hughes. So Thomas Drance brought it up in the postgame, right in the middle of talking about the Canucks win. And I saw Drance get a lot of heat for this on X. And Drance stood his ground and said, the heat was, that was inappropriate line of questioning, talking about potential trade destinations. I think people get really, sensitive when it's about New Jersey specifically, because that's what we're most worried about. And so they're saying, no, time and place, Drance, not, you can ask them that any other day. Why now? And then Drance responded by, when you hear the league's number one insider, Elliot Friedman, talk about the team's best player in the city's biggest story right now, then it is an appropriate time. It's always an appropriate time to ask because he's doing his job as a reporter. I have time for that argument. I bristled a little bit when I heard it, but Quinn answered it in a way that might not give Canucks fans a lot of solace or hope. He basically referred to GM of New Jersey, Tom Fitzgerald, as Fitzy. He goes, "Oh, it's not like me, Fitzy, and Jim got in a room and chatted." Or he said something to that effect. In essence, no matter what he said, doesn't matter what he said. The fact that he called Fitzgerald Fitzy gave Canucks fans a lot of fits because they said, "Oh, what the heck? He has a nickname for him already, Fitzy," and obviously it shows you that he's very comfortable with him already. So who knows? So that's my one other thing is not so much that Drance asked it in the media thing. It was the fact that Elliotte Friedman talked about it on Hockey Night. And then, of course, the story got a lot of legs last night. Obviously, if Quinn Hughes leaves, the number one probable destination is New Jersey. But that's if he leaves as a free agent. If the Canucks are trading, they'd be foolish to limit the field to New Jersey. But again, none of this can happen. Well, the trade can happen anytime, but the extension can't happen until July the 1st. So let me know in the comments, you guys, if that concerned you, the fact that Friedman's report came out. Let me know if you thought that it was inappropriate or just fine for Thomas Drance to ask that in the post-game media scrum. So lots to talk about today. Let's get to the mid-show sponsor read, and then we'll get to all of your comments and questions. So I always start off by thanking my primary sponsor. And that, of course, is Jason Lim of Van City Experts. Thank you to my channel sponsor, Jason Lim of Van City Experts Real Estate. At Van City Experts, their experience, knowledge, and expertise can serve you well in navigating through the real estate market and will help you to choose the best home or condo in the greater Vancouver area that best suits your and your family's needs. Shout out to my secondary sponsors. The first one is Gassy Jack Art. You can check him out at gassyjackart.com. And yeah, he's the creator of this wonderful artwork that you see around my home studio. So thank you, Jack. We have Mulligan Golf Company, mlgngolf.com. Check them out for golfing apparel and accessories. And my supporting sponsor, Vesty Footwear. Use the link tinyurl.com/VestyClay and receive a free pair of socks off your next purchase of Vesty shoes. Thanks to everyone who's purchased Canuck Clay merch. You can do so at canuckclay.threadless.com. Reminder how you get involved today. Subscribe to the channel. Like the video. Leave a donation like Skytrain Elfin did. Thank you. You can gift a membership, buy your own membership, upgrade your membership, use your monthly membership message. And if listening on a podcast platform, you can rate and review. And my next show is tonight at 11 p.m. We'll wrap up the weekend. We'll look ahead to this week's games and everything else in between. I'm going to give away some memberships tonight because it's the first Sunday of the month. So join me tonight. Next show is tonight at 11 p.m. Okay, friends. Quick Mitchell update. Elfrin is atop the leaderboard at 175 points because of his donation. Everyone else has 75 points. We'll do 10 to 15 minutes of your questions, and then we will go. Is it me or does Quinn Hughes look like he's trying not to get injured lately? Could this mean a trade is coming? I take it more as he's played a lot of minutes and he's just kind of being more careful. I get why people are sensitive to the Hughes question, but we all know what is going to happen now, unfortunately. There's no sensible scenario where we keep our captain regardless, is there? Sensible scenario depends on your definition of sensible. I think the hope is that they still at least get to a point where they can negotiate with him and put that $150 to $160 million offer on that table. 8 years times 18 to 20 million. I saw a potential trade package involving New Jersey, Hischier, Nemec, or Mercer, and a couple of firsts. Hischier, Nemec, or Mercer. Well, I like Nemec more than Mercer, and a couple of firsts. Open to it, but those firsts are going to be low. I think you need a bit more. Well, Hischier's good. I didn't like the fact that Canucks gave up the first goal of the game, but I did like that once they took the lead, they had it the rest of the game. Yeah, absolutely. Good resilience shown by the Canucks. I don't see New Jersey parting with Hischier. That is fair. Gerald's not high in Nemec. Yeah, I probably should watch more of his game, to be honest with you. All right, guys. Let me know your thoughts about last night's game. What did you like? What didn't you like? Tell me one other thing. And I'm especially interested in your thoughts on the Quinn Hughes situation Not what you think is going to happen, but did you think it was fine that Thomas Drance brought it up in the post game interview? Let me know. And then, yeah, I don't know if you're like me. I'm still always looking for the questions to start with. How important is it? How important was it? It's always important. All depends on what's going on in Quinn's head. People are just protecting their own feelings onto him. Oh, projecting their own feelings onto him. That's fair. What shoe do you think will be the first drop of the Canucks? A trade, an upper management firing, or a coaching change? I think as long as they're within shouting distance of the playoffs, it definitely won't be a coaching change. That's too quick. I even don't think it will be an upper management thing. I think it's a trade. If I had to pick between those three, Derek, I'm going trade first. If PD has to miss any amount of games, does Neil Zaman get the call up? It's interesting because you have Bluger potentially returning. No, not Bluger. Hoglander potentially returning the lineup on Thursday. So there's still one more game before that on Monday. Hoglander's a winger. I get. If you need a center, you're right. Aman's the next guy up. And if Bluger's not close to returning, then it's Neil Zaman. And you put him in the fourth line. If a trade is to New Jersey, Canucks will get fleeced. Yeah, they wouldn't seem to have a lot of bargaining power, right? As long as we get the boys I keep mentioning, I'm fine. Yes, you're on the McKenna and the other guy's train. Didn't like MP3's play on their first goal and just how he's been playing in general. Yeah, he's probably been the weakest of the top four for sure. Hronek's been really good. Hey, stoked because my biochem finals tomorrow and my inorganic chem, I don't even know what any of these mean, is 3 days. Awesome. Almost there, Taylor. Almost there. Eyes on the prize, Taylor. Eyes on the prize. Still hoping for a coaching change. I think that's a big reason why their defense and PK are struggling. Personnel hasn't changed much. Yeah, I hear ya, but I don't think they're going to make that change. I don't think they're going to make that change because that would be then going on 5 coaches in 5 years. I'm not happy that Quinn was asked about the rumors. Interesting. Yeah, and he handled it well. He handled it very well. He handled it with that Fitzy comment that like I said, is giving Canucks fans fits. But he handled it very, very well. What else you guys got? Tell me what you like, what you didn't like. Tell me one other thing about last night's game. Do you think Willander is going to be a solid top 14 in the future? He seems to be more comfortable as the season goes on. Absolutely, Peter. When they drafted him, they weren't necessarily in top pairing D, but you never know. You did draft him 11th overall, and he's got 8 points in 19 games. That's pretty impressive, actually. That's like Philip Hronek stats. You can see he's smart. You can see that he gaps well. Really smooth skater. Yeah. Top 4 for sure. Does Hoglander move the dial enough for us in people's opinion? I don't think so. I think it'll be great to have, but he's the only difference maker that's injured right now, of course, not including PD, is Demko. I look forward to seeing him back, but we really need a 5 or 6 game winning run. Where does it come from? Yeah, looking at the schedule coming up, I'm trying to see what the Canucks schedule is like. I agree. They need to, just like they went on a couple of 3 or 4 game losing streaks, they need to get on a run. And, anyone can beat anyone, obviously. You could, technically, the next 4 games are winnable games. Detroit, Buffalo, New Jersey, Rangers. And then you have back-to-back Islanders in Boston. That might be tough. And then Philly to end off that trip. And then you have San Jose, Seattle, and Philly. So, this month of December, aside from the Colorado Avalanche on the 2nd, there aren't any world beaters on this in December. Because you look at the opponents that the Canucks are facing during this month, and like I said, Colorado, top team in the league. That was on December 2nd. But for the rest, the next best team that we're facing, Islanders are 6th overall. They're actually playing quite well. Then we just beat the 7th overall, Minnesota, last night. And then Boston's 10th. Okay. But then there are some teams that, Buffalo's not that great. Seattle's not that great. Yeah, we will see. San Jose's not that great, although they're 500. So I guess my point is there aren't, there's some good teams in New Jersey and Boston, Islanders in Boston, but there aren't a lot of great teams that we're playing in the next month. That's a great question. That's a great question. The results might be frustrating some nights, but the team's effort cannot be denied. I think we need stability. We need to keep the coach and management team. Yeah, I'd agree about the effort for sure. I've said that many times this week. Not this week. I've seen this many times on the show. Is I can count on one hand the number of dog games from a standpoint of effort. The Adam Foote has these guys playing hard and believing in themselves for sure. I like Tolopiel's performance. Me too. Looking forward to Hallgren coming back. I think it'll add a jolt. That is fair, Tyler. That is fair. Where does he slot? Peter, let's presume he's healthy. Sorry, let's presume Petey's healthy. I think you could do something like, Hogland is a left winger. Does he vault over Kane and DeBrusk into? I see him starting in a third pair on the third line. I could see something like Kane, DeBrusk, and Petey. Kampf between Garland and Besser, then Sherwood and Hoglander with Aatu. That's if we're healthy. I could see Sherwood and Hoglander being third liner, and then your fourth line then would be Sasson with O'Connor, and one of Lekaramaki or Baines. So I see him as a third liner with Kiefer Sherwood. I didn't like the disallowed goal. There's no kicking motion. Yeah, it kind of just bounced off him, right? Least favorite team, Calgary Flames, beyond a shadow of doubt. Young goalies often start out well, though, before tailing off. I hope he keeps it up. Yeah, good point. Good point. That was so close, that disallowed goal. When I first looked at it, I thought a very slight kicking motion. Okay, so a slight kick. First line, most likely for Hoglander. It's not a serious injury for PD. If it's not a serious injury for PD, have him on the wing. So you think you put Hoglander the first line already as a left winger? Yeah, and then you can put DeBrusk or Besser on the right? Maybe. I think it might be. I think that might ease him in, though. Was that the game? Crowd was actually vibing even at 1-0 and fans still passionate after the Aatu goal called off. Should have counted. Saw snow. Definitely no kicking. That's good. Glad you're at the game, Gerald. I wish I was at this game. It can go both ways. Well, there is probably a more proper time to talk about New Jersey. Reporters do have a job to do, and Quinn is the most important story in the team, and he's repping as the captain. All great points, Justin. Are you concerned about Demko when he does return to the lineup in terms of injury? I'm always concerned, but not more concerned than usual. Just always concerned with Demko. Do you think the fan base will be forgiving if the team starts to get healthy, go on a run, and get in the playoff spot? Yeah, of course. A lot of fans that want the team to tank or to lose and to get a better draft, a draft position. The fans that do that, I'm not saying they're better fans, but they're the fans that probably are in the minority, to be honest with you, because you got to think in the greater general population. Most casual fans, they don't understand the whole draft lottery. They don't understand the tanking concept. They just want to pay money, and no, they don't want to pay money. They want to see the team win when they pay their hard-earned money. So I do think the majority of fans would want them to win games and grab a playoff spot, even if it seems counterintuitive to a strong rebuild. Let's give some love to Chris. Chris buys him or herself a franchise membership. So once again, welcome to Chris. Welcome to franchise membership. Let's give Chris some love in the chat. Welcome to franchise membership. That is awesome. That is awesome. Is there a huge discussion coming up that he should join a playoff competitive team and to leave Vancouver in any case? Burn, the thought is his trade value is going to be the most it will be at this trade deadline because, yes, the team that gets him for a year and a half under contract, so 2 playoff runs. And there's no way they're trading him to a rebuilding. They'll trade him to a contender, and then you try and get as many assets as you can. That slight kicking motion was more reflex than actual kicking, but it was still kicking. Fair enough. Or I was still kicking. You were? Do you think they need better structure? It feels as though they completely abolished the structure that Target put in place. I think Adam Foote is definitely having the more read react type style. So we're seeing good offense sometimes, and we're not seeing good defense. It was the opposite of what we were concerned about, right? So do they need a bit of structure? Yes, but Foote doesn't seem so worried about the structure. He's more wants the guys to get experience and better react to certain plays. But Tyler, I'd be okay with a bit more structure on the defensive end. Thoughts on the Jets season? Yeah, it's too bad. You knew that it was going to be tough when Connor Hellebuyck went down, but they've got some really good players. And Comrie has been good, but they've been horrible. They've been horrible since Hellebuyck's injury. Adequate cabinet. They do need better structure. What has impressed you about Tolopil? Well, obviously his size and his movement for size, but I think his demeanor. He's very calm. He gives me Demko like vibes in there. Very, very calm, efficient with his movements. I really like Tolopil's game. Yeah, Bluger would be good, but he seems to have had a step back. Feels the team came together when Petey got pulled out of the lineup. Kids showed up to play. Something to look forward to in the future. Great point. Is Bluger alive? Yeah, he did one practice and he's gone back into hiding or working on his own. Defense is getting turned around. Yeah, slowly, finally. Keep Carlson on the first line. Look at his hockey IQ and his passing. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention him in my breakdown of forwards. Yeah, Carlson has been impressive. I probably should have put him in what I liked. He's been really, really good. Really, really good. Some welcome to Chris, which is great. Carlson is one of the highest hockey IQs on the team. I've been saying since the start of the season. That's a great point. I wouldn't mind a Carlson EP for a Hoglander. Yeah, 2 left wingers though. 2 natural left wingers, but Hoglander has played both sides. Just figure out how to subscribe. Yay! Oh, subscribe and become a member. Even better. Carlson's scrappy too. I like that. He won't take crap from anyone, even Tom Wilson. Yeah, he's big and he's got good hands. Players have a lot more protection from media nowadays compared to before. Media used to have free reign over the players and they're getting questioning allowed. And the questioning allowed before now the organization selects who's available. That's true. They tried out 2 or 3 guys after a game. And yeah, gone are the days of Tony Gallagher and other really, really tough reporters. That's a good point. Are you underwhelmed with this decor? Sure, the names may be better than when they had Susie and Desharnais, but they are last in goals against and power plays is good. Underwhelmed, yeah, surprised, because I do think our top 4 can be good with Hughes, Hronek, Myers, DPD, Marcus Persson. And then, if you have games like that last night from DPD and Willander, the defense does look good. It even looks good for the future. Who do you think has been the most disappointing Canadian team? Us, and Winnipeg, I think. And even Edmonton struggled too. Tolopil gets out of position a bit, but I agree he looks confident in net and looks relaxed and calm. That is fair. Well, it's fun to see optimism in the fan base still. People understand the NHL can see this team doesn't have the talent to compete for a playoff position. Yeah, I don't disagree with you. They don't have enough game breakers. They don't have enough consistency. But what I'm saying is the casual fan simply wants them to win, right? And they don't think about tanking. They don't think about lottery, all those things. We'd love to see the Swedish connection when Hawks comes back, if PD is also back. Would you rather never eat sushi again or have to only watch the Flames and never drink Pepsi again? Ooh. Never eat sushi or only watch the Flames and never drink Pepsi. Oh, that is so tough. If only watching the Flames means not, that's why you asked me my least favorite team. Very good, Tom Clayman. I see what you did there. If only watching the Flames means I can't watch Canucks, never drinking Pepsi, I could survive with Coke and Orange Crush. Never eating sushi, that would be very tough. But if this is never, like in my lifetime, I think I'll have to go with I would never eat sushi. I think the combined love of Pepsi or Cola and the Canucks will outshine my love for sushi, believe it or not. With the younger players working hard, this is what we need for our team's experience. We do need someone like Zadorov again for sure. Interesting, Chris. The other thing is, I asked yesterday, are you patient enough? Are Canucks fans patient enough for a 3 to 5 year rebuild? Yeah, so we'll see a lot of efforts like last night where it's young, scrappy players. Cindy, you saw Teddy at the game. He's still injured. Well, thank you, Cindy. Anything else you can say without getting us in trouble? Getting you in trouble? But you don't want to be too calm when you're an HL goalie. I like to see some anger and yelling. Yeah, but you got to keep your head. You got to keep your head in the game, right? The goaltending is such a different breed. What do you think is different about PD this season compared to how he was last season? Confidence. I think he's healthier. I think he had a better offseason. I think his personal life is better. All those things. Get more competitive, angry, and told people could be a keeper, but how do you change someone's attitude? Yeah, and I don't need him. I don't think you can say, Lefty, that he's not competitive. I just don't think you can say that. And maybe he's just really good at. I think all the Canucks goaltenders are quite calm, and I think most goaltenders are. Some are hotheads like Binnington, but yeah. But I hear what you're saying. You want to see a bit more, but again, he is very, very young. But I guess that's your point. Friends, I'm going to wrap up here. Thank you for being here. Moderators, thank you for keeping this a safe and respectful place. Actually, let's do this. Why do you think PD and Brock just affected? I think they were only effective for like half a season or a season on the lotto line. I just think like Brock's got a good hockey IQ. PD's got good passing skills. So I'm surprised they don't work well together. Maybe it's just a chemistry thing where together they're not the fastest duo. So maybe they don't retrieve enough pucks. I don't know. Toll looks good. It's nice to see a tall goalie. Canucks training Shelovs. Did they know? I think that was the hope, right? Because they knew that they couldn't keep Shelovs if they're going to keep Demko and Lankinen, and they have hope for Tolopilo, and they drafted Medvedev. Would you rather the team sneak in the playoffs to give players experience or get swept or have a high draft pick? Sneak in the playoffs but get swept or have a high draft pick. If I know that the high draft pick is top 3, I'll take the draft pick, to be honest with you. But there is a magic about playoff hockey. But if I know that they're going to get swept, so only 2 home games, I don't know if I would take that. 3 to 5 years, you're fine with Taylor. Unfortunate time with the Jets with Helly's injury, but it's magnified even more so with them being the tough central with the Avstars. And wow, great point. You too, Andrew. I don't close my eyes too much when Tolopilo's in net, so that's a good sign. Well, you shouldn't close your eyes anyways. You're going to miss some of the game. All right, moderators, thank you for keeping this a safe and respectful place. Members, that's legendary Lucas Gates, legendary Carol Bovlander, legendary Brian Blingy Choi, legendary Swervin Yrvin, legendary Tom Hoglander, legendary Andrew Chang. Thanks for your support, and thanks to the support of all Hall of Fame and franchise members as well. I appreciate you, and thanks to all of you for watching, liking, and subscribing. On your way out, like the video, subscribe, and leave a late donation if you want. Gerald says, by the way, thanks, just incredible for the dono on my. So Gerald, who gave you the big dono? That is awesome. By the way, thanks, Justin, just incredible. I thought you said it was just incredible, but I guess that's awesome. Congratulations to you, Gerald. And as I was saying, thank you to my sponsors, Advanced State Experts Real Estate, Cassie Jack Art, and Mulligan Golf Company. Thanks to everyone who went above and beyond. That was Alfred with the donation, and Chris becomes a new franchise member. Add it all up, and Alfred wins with 175 points, Gerald with 150, Andrew with 100, and a bunch of people with 75. So there's your top 3. My next show tonight at 11 p.m. I hope you can join me, continue wrapping up this Canucks weekend and looking ahead to the next week. Nice to see you, Leah. Glad that you're here. Nice to see everyone that's in here. I hope you have a great Sunday. I now have to go shower, and I have a work event all weekend, all afternoon. Then I'm playing piano for Mass, taking Gail out for dinner, and then back here. And then tonight, I'll share news about my next trip, my next concert experience, and I'm going to maybe have you guys guess in the chat what that might be. All right, friends, have a great Sunday. You're awesome. I'm awesome. Canucks are awesome. I'll see you tonight at 11 p.m. In the meantime, stay safe, stay healthy, take care of yourselves, and take care of each other. 3 golf clubs walk into a bar. The putter orders a beer. The sandwich orders a tequila. And the third club says, nothing for me. I'm the driver. God bless. And go Canucks go. Booyah.